This is Brad, Blue Nile Farm. Today I got a real problem out here in one of my hayfields. I have some real major ruts at this end here. It's really hard to turn and I'm bouncing all around. It's beating up my equipment. And I brought the TR3 out here to take care of the problem. About 12 miles from my house. It's about to rain, so I want to kind of knock this out. Now I just baled this yesterday and the field's rough. I have these teeth that are set as low as possible on the TR3 and I'm just going to make a bunch of passes. Hopefully it breaks it up. And hopefully I can smooth it out so I don't fight this. This area is a low area. That's why it's wet. It's stuck with reed canary grass. And I really would like to get rid of that as well. But right now I'm just going to try to smooth this out as much as I can because I hate driving over it. So Kubota 7060 is going to be the tractor. We have the TR3. And I'm going to just kind of chew this up as much as I can. And you get to see this in action. So stay tuned. So the tool I'm going to use today, and I said is a TR3, which is made by ABI Attachments. And why I'm highlighting this tool and why I'm going to use it today is this is a all and done tool as far as I'm concerned. It could tear up ground, it could level ground, it could do a lot of things. It works on driveways, it could do multiple faceted operations, and it excels in working with dirt. And that's primarily what it's used for, is working in horse arenas and arena grading. But even out in the field for farmer applications, I think it works great, especially if you're fixing hay ruts and ruts in fields and uneven areas that you just bounce around it. You know, it's not that you're going to do the entire field, you're going to do a specific area of the field. And I know you can take a disc out there and you can take tillers out there, you can take multiple different tools. The problem is, though, it's a process. I just want to get over here, rip the grass off, level it off real quick and get out of there. I don't expect it to be perfect for a lawn, like a lawn. I just want to get it done where I can get in there and work it without getting the hell knocked out of me turning around in the headlands. And this area that we're working, like I say, is really rough. So this piece of equipment is nice because, one, it has a self-leveling blade. It has teeth that will rip up the sod and actually rip up the dirt. And then you have this comb part which will level things out and smooth it out. Now ideally, I'm only here doing this for 25 minutes and I'm leaving. But ideally you could go back numerous times once it dries out, like a discing field, and leveling it out a little bit better if you want to. But because it's September, I got other fields to move on to. I just wanted to attack this problem quickly, and I'll address it later if it's not corrected a different way. But right now this is the most effective and quickest way to go. So this tool is 72 inches long. I have a hydraulic top link, and what's nice about it is that I want to take these teeth and get it into the sod, rip the sod off, and eventually loosen up the soil so I can level it out. So the teeth themselves is what I primarily going to use. So I need that hydraulic top link to tilt this thing down and get those teeth to sink. And if they sink really deep, they'll actually stop this tractor from even moving. So I have to kind of find the sweet spot where I can continue going back and forth, ripping up ground, ripping down sod, and leveling as I go. And just to show you a little bit about the teeth themselves, that this is actually a tooth, and the tooth is normally up here, and it's gotten worn down significantly from being used on driveways and from dirt. But technically it'll pretty much wear itself down about here. And this is a replaceable part, this piece right here. So this can actually unbolt and come right back off. But these are the key to the success of this machine. The straight teeth that actually go into the ground. They don't hook and turn like a box scraper. Now, some people will say, well, I'll just take my box scraper out there. The problem with the box scraper is it's not going to be able to get in and really rip out the sod and loosen up the soil. All it does is drag dirt and soil, and unless that soil is loose, box scraper is really ineffective. Here I'm taking something going into hard ground or even soft ground, but have to contend with the roots, and I need something that'll rip up the roots and rip up the dirt at the same time. And this is why this is an all-in-one tool, and it does it all. And that's why I'm kind of endorsing it. As far as this type of operation, because it has many uses on the farm, and this is one of the uses that I found as far as leveling an area with big ruts. So The other key with the hydraulic top link, which is nice, is that as I'm pulling, I'm going to grab a lot of debris, get a lot of grass buildup between the self-leveling blade and this comb. And what's nice is by lifting up the hydraulic top link, a lot of times the debris will actually fall down and I don't have to get out and pull it. If you didn't have a hydraulic top link, you would be really ineffective in using this type of equipment. So if you ever think about buying a TR3 for a tractor, you definitely need the hydraulic top link. I wouldn't even think about using it without it because it would definitely be ineffective for you. You know, if you're not familiar with a hydraulic top link, this is what this actually is. It goes to one remote of your tractor and it basically tilts forward and back the actual TR3. And if you do not have a hydraulic top link on a TR3, you're definitely missing a boat and you're making a huge mistake. This is probably one of the most important pieces to make this thing work effectively. And when you can use it from the cab, it is a huge time saver. It makes things work well for you. So you definitely want to get a hydraulic top link. I have a couple videos about hydraulic top links and some of their applications. Another piece of equipment besides this is one of them. So very important piece of unit, and they're a couple $100, but they're well worth it. And I don't care what your size is. I don't care if you have a 5-footer, a 4-footer. I don't care what size TR3 you have. You definitely want a hydraulic top link because it is a time saver, work saver, and makes this machine work optimally. Just to give you a different angle, this is the self-leveling blade here, and it floats. It's a floating. I can actually lock it into place like a box scraper here by putting a pin in, but what I'm going to do is to not touch it at all. I'm going to let this blade float. These are the teeth. There's 8 of them going across in this model, and then you have the comb. And like I say, this is where the buildup is going to be between the self-leveling teeth and the comb as far as any grass, debris, or dirt. So you kind of want to get it kind of moving and lifting and falling. You know, they have gauge wheels here that are on the unit. You know, I don't really mess with them as long as this thing's running smoothly. So other than that, it's relatively pretty simple. So the teeth on the TR3 are basically set manually, and you just need to set your depth to where you need to go. Today I set them as deep as I could because my whole goal was to rip up ground. But generally, if I was working ground that I wanted just to finish off or to be smooth, or say I'm working in an arena, I'm going to set them where they're not digging too deep, but they're just digging enough where I can consistently move around, make circles, and basically start to level an area. So you have to find a sweet spot in that, and that takes a little bit of experience, a little bit of practice. But for today's sake, I'm going to say that this unit, the TR3, if you have to set these manually, and I know that some of these machines come with hydraulics, it's really not a big deal on the TR3. The SR3, which is a different unit that's like this, it goes on a skid steer. It's pretty much a mandatory thing where it's hydraulically used. But don't fret if you buy one of these. Now, as far as the TR3 goes, you can't find them used on Marketplace or on Craigslist or different places that you may run into these, but they're not something you can go get at a rental store. These are specialty pieces of equipment, and you can find them for about $1,500 used if you pay attention and look, even if they're older models. And the only replacement part is really the tips. The rest of this pretty much can, you know, you use it for many, many years to come, and they're very durable. And I've never had anything go wrong on mine at all. With that said, you know, let me show you what it can do. Just to get started, I expect to rip, and I'm just sticking down here at this end right now. I expect to do a lot of ripping up of grass, because that's part of the problem here. Is I got all this canary grass, and the ground's really bouncy, and you can kind of see that. So I'm going to have to go back and forth in this one area. And I'm hoping I can do this before the rain. So here I am in my field. I made numerous passes. I'm going to make some more passes. I don't just want to bore you guys with it. And it's kind of hard by myself to sit here and give you a good view. But I'm actually covering probably 75 foot back and forth. And I am actually starting to feel it. And if you can see this, I've actually ripped up a lot of the grass just in this short period of time. So probably 10 minutes at most, going back and forth. And it's working out really well. And I'm actually getting a little bit smoother. And you can actually see, you know, there's some of the ruts right here in the ground that I've been fighting, but they've been so deep. So the key with the SR3, or TR3, which is so good, is that it's self-leveling. And as I dig in, I'm ripping up grass and I'm moving things around. I'm always shuffling. And now if it dries out and I came back out here and did it again, it'd be ideal. And I probably might do that. I'm taking it because I am going to be mowing more hay out of this field, but I'm going to leave this tool down here. But I'm going to keep going over this right now. And this is my worst part, is the turning area. Going up and down is where the ruts are. And I may try to address those too today. But right now we're going to address this, because the headland, every time I turned in here, man, I was getting the hell knocked out of me. My baler, my tedder. It was just rough turning. And even on that big Ford with big tires, I was bouncing out of the seat. So this is really going to be pretty good. But anyway, I'm going to make more passes, and you can continue watching, and hopefully you'll see how it tears up a little better. So it rained on me yesterday, so I had to cut it short. And it's been raining on and off for basically a whole 24 hours. And yes, there's a little bit of puddles sitting out there, but you know what? It really doesn't matter to me, because it did smooth out that headland area. I can now drive around on it, spin, and go back up a row, and it's not going to knock the crap out of me. So TR3 did a pretty decent job, considering it was loaded with grass and a lot of root system that was in there, and it ripped it all out, and did a halfway decent job leveling it. But ideally, if it would have had a couple more days of dry weather and would go over it again a few more times, it would be great. But right now, I'm satisfied. I got some grass clumps sitting in the pasture right now. They'll decompose, and when I'm ready to do an overseed this year, I'll actually probably clean that up a little bit with the chain harrow and smooth that all out, and it'd be good as new. So, hey guys, thanks for watching the video on taking out ruts in the hayfield with the TR3. You know, that little unit does a nice little job, and like I said, it's a one and done tool. It does a lot of different applications depending on what you want to use it for. And again, if you're interested in that tool, watch some more of my videos or watch other videos by other people, and you can see it's the versatility of that piece of equipment. But with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.